officer. He needs some milk. All right, I think it's working.
Thompson, I want to start this episode by saying that I was wrong and you were right. I'm a big enough man, not just by my weight, but by my pride, to say sometimes I can be wrong about things.
All right, I think we all can. Phraydoe Peans.
Yeah, but some
and we
of
all
us
are. We all are. Nobody's right all the time.
That's the truth. Sometimes my truth has good intentions behind it.
Okay,
but when you see the face value of real truth, like people eating people's faces,
face value of people eating people's faces, or
smacking your face on the concrete,
hey man,
because you're high as fuck on Flakka Flame.
Yo, is that even high though? That's like just in a different place altogether.
And why would you even take a drug called Flakka?
Man,
I thought it was named after the rapper, but apparently it's like a Latin name.
Okay.
And it derived from Florida. Florida.
Do we know what Waka Flocka's name derives?
Gucci Mane's brain.
Really?
Yeah, Gucci was just in the studio, probably high on some type of substance, and was like, "Your name is Flakka."
Does it have anything
Waka
to do with
Flakka Flame?
Is it? You know that for a fact? Like you heard that story?
Yeah, Waka said that in an interview.
Huh.
That's why I say Gucci Mane is a father to a lot of this shit.
So why? And okay, so what's the? You said it's Spanish.
It's a Spanish slang for like woman or like something sexual towards a woman, and it's a Chinese drug.
What is that? That's a broad term. Something sexual toward a woman.
I want to say it translates to like losing your inhibitions. With the female spirit or something like that.
Oh, let yourself go, kind of like,
and a lot
succumb to the sirens of the sea,
and the crystal, the gravel, to the brain. Death.
Yo,
this stuff looks like this. This could be Flakka.
Yeah,
the crystals
in some small way. It is
sugar.
It changes your brain chemistry.
It's an amphetamine. It's an upper.
It's a super upper.
A super duper upper. Like if you want it to be
it's
Hulk,
upper and outer.
I think the comic book Hulk was a metaphor for somebody taking Flakka and anger management at the same time.
Or just letting himself go. Just letting that rage take over. But again, they're in a different place. They don't even remember shit when they come back. They're just like, what?
Have you witnessed anybody on Flakka?
Not that I know of.
I don't think it's come that north in Florida. Like it's definitely spread out the United States, but it mostly, like, the capital of Flakka is like Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, man. Once again, Miami. I spent some time in Miami recently.
This is like northern Miami, like
still, it was nice.
Broward County.
I had a good time.
I think when we first heard about bath salts, right? This is a cousin of the bath salt,
right.
And people eating people's face. That was in Miami.
Do we know the difference between bath salts and Flakka?
See, all these drugs. What happens is they're all made up kind of the same
basically
chemical,
the same thing.
But every time the government catches up to that chemical, they make that chemical illegal.
And
so they add a particle or some type of
tweak it.
So all of these are the cousins of each other. I think
this shit really coming from China? Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Is that just some like internet conspiracy shit or whatever, or is it actually?
Maybe. But all the news outlets and everybody that tells the story of Flakka seems to blame the Chinese for producing it, even to the point where on some of these like dark web ads, it's like, yo, if you get busted with this shit, we'll ship you out a free container to get you back on your feet. That's how much they want to sell this shit to America.
So if you get arrested, they'll just send you another one because whatever.
Yeah, if you lose your bundle, you want to get back up.
So what happens though? Like, do you know if the police, or I guess they're not the police, right? It would be some government. Is it the
It's
FBI?
the FBI mostly, I think, and with the like maybe postal service, because you're dealing with like mail
customs.
Yeah, customs enforcement. Yeah, I think all of that has to be the enforcement.
So customs is ICE, right?
Nah, I think that's just immigrant. Isn't
that customs? The second one is customs, right?
I think Customs and Border Patrol.
Ooh,
there's a lot of
dumb motherfucker alert. All of us.
There's a lot. Well, I mean, when you're always having a new agency, it's hard to keep up.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't. I
it's like
lightly.
A TV show.
I'm so like. I admit that I'm getting better at shit as far as like. I'm still not even all the way sure about the structure of government entirely, like 100%. I'm at like 90%, maybe 85% of like getting the structure and why everything, like electoral college, why is that even a thing? Why we do it like that? You know,
I think a lot of the
people
stuff
have explanations and they explain it in both ways and it makes sense.
Right.
That's where I'm at in the world, and it kind of sucks because information is everywhere, and you can adjust that information to the same information to mean two different things sometimes, and it sucks for a person like me who's not necessarily a genius. You know, I'm not like stupid, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm very dumb. You know what I mean?
But seeing that is what makes you
sure.
That's what makes.
But there's
people
still that
smart.
problem. There's
but
still
I
that
think
problem.
everybody sees that. It's the dichotomy: the left, the right, the blood, the crip, the Democrat, Republican. I mean, yin and yang.
Yeah.
That's just part of, I think, all systems that humans implement to the world. Yeah. There's always going to be that left and right, up and down, whatever. You know what I mean? And I think was it done on purpose? Because a lot of these laws, right? The electoral Congress, whatever. A lot of these things were created thousands or hundreds of years ago, right? But the idea was even maybe 1,000 years old. They just keep reinventing it different. You know what I mean?
It and kind of
structure and religion.
That necessarily, I don't have I mean, sure, the some of the products of the stuff they built long ago aren't the best, but I don't have a problem necessarily with trying to see something that kind of worked and adjust it into something that may work. You know, that's not the worst thing ever, I guess. At least trying, because what else are you going to do necessarily?
Yeah, but that's the same kind of mentality that I think people, why these drugs exist is a way of creating a new, cheaper way to get high, right? We're evolving, we're trying to get something better, but then like when you try to get something better and maybe cheaper, right? And even that, is that good or bad, right? We're going back to what is right and wrong. You get a drug like this, that is cheaper than cocaine.
Oh Lord.
I think it was made to, like, okay, you don't want to spend $80-100 on yay, well, just take this $5 hit of Flakka and go to the moon. And it's hard, like fentanyl, it's hard to really, because it's so illegal, what is the right dosage? There hasn't been, this is another argument of good and bad, like big pharma right now with all the Oxycontin shit and all the hydrocodone. They're being sued and taken to court by different states now because of the opioid epidemic. But they went through trials and errors, right? They went through clinical research to see how much dosage we can give a person, and even they were wrong because they were saying Oxycontin wasn't even a hard drug. Like, this is not going to make people addicted. So imagine in the underworld where there is no regulation,
right?
And that's where I was saying
care at all,
that I thought I was right as far as making all drugs legal, and let's regulate everything because of drugs like this. But that was so wrong when I started to see these videos of the way people act. And I don't think that no matter what dosage you're giving people, this is a substance that you would think shouldn't be taken. But we can't legalize all drugs.
That's the main. I don't want to see somebody doing heroin in the corner, right? But like, I totally against somebody in their own house fucking getting on some Flakka, my neighbor who's like a firefighter, so he's like fit already, right? So already in like a one-on-one, me and him, he's probably gonna win a wrestling match, right? I can probably handle him at some sort of distance or whatever, but if he gets me and knows anything about holding people, this firefighter is gonna be able to get the best of me. Now put fucking Flakka inside of him and he's kicking down my door. What am I supposed to do with that shit? Exactly. Y'all better fucking run. I'm going to try to take all of this while run, because this is not going to last long. He's biting my face. You know what I mean?
Do you really have a firefighter for a neighbor? Oh, sometimes you be coming up with these characters. I don't know if they're real or not, but they're you're absolutely right. This drug it'll take a school teacher, a librarian,
a
librarian,
a
librarian to the next level.
Yeah.
She can rip you in half.
Yeah.
Or he.
Yeah.
It could be like a small, fragile gay man that works at the library. He could take you. You know what I mean?
Gay men are strong too, Peans.
No, I'm just saying in this scenario. No,
I hear you. This particular scenario,
drug
you're adding a detail to your character.
Yeah.
You're making up. Yeah.
Exactly.
I actually met that guy.
Yeah.
Where was I? I got him in my head right now. I was somewhere buying gas. It was a random spot. I've never been there before.
Fragile gay man?
He was very slight. And I drove out to see my family yesterday.
He was like smaller in stature, kind of like a jockey.
He sounded exactly like a woman, right? And had a little wispy mustache and like a small head. He might have even just had like some sort of developmental something, but he I don't know. I hate that I'm throwing all kinds of like.
Yeah, but I feel you. No, I understand.
But when I think of the guy who could take Flakka and become insanely strong, even though he's slight, I think of that guy.
Yeah, man. So.
Yeah, no Flakka, bro.
Yeah, let's not legalize all drugs. Let's just start with weed, maybe cocaine.
Any derivative of. That's the thing. Like it feels weird to even like keep remaking laws for specific moleculed. You know what I mean?
They're gonna keep reinventing a molecule.
There's
no way you could change
if I was in this, obviously, while I'll never be any kind of like president or Congress, but I'm just like, stop the bullshit. What are you talking about? Stop making that shit. That shit right there. Stop making that shit.
How do you get China to stop making it though?
I guess is that in support of Trump? Is that like a Trump support? If I say you just fucking do it, like some shit that because that's what Trump would do, right?
Yeah,
Trump would be like, nah, fuck that.
Tariff,
blah, blah, blah.
Tariff on Flakka.
Yeah, so is there a if somehow his power could be or his not power, his the way he does things, his motive, his whatever, the way he does things, modus operandi could be like funneled and like put through a different lens and like used, because it seems like a very strong weapon to have politically.
Yeah.
So why don't we like
use
figure
it for
out
good
somehow?
I mean, he made fucking North Korea back down in a sense.
You
got to give him credit for that.
This
shit.
thing you can't really tell people sometimes because the way he goes about shit is so fucking crazy and terrible and like disrespectful and racist and whatever, right?
Yo, what if Trump is microdosing Flakka?
And I wouldn't.
That's what keeps him on edge. He's like almost 80 years old.
I wouldn't be surprised. But it seems like some of the stuff that's happening is positive, has positive outcomes for everybody. There's little ones and there's also other ones that just don't. So I understand why people are pissed off. I'm pissed off, but I'm saying in the instance of Flakka, I would unleash Trump at his best and just say, go for it, buddy. Hey, man, go for it.
Yeah.
Do your thing. And he can just whatever. And that sounds very ignorant of me because I don't know what the fuck goes on behind closed doors and how that, works in the hierarchy of people in charge or whatever. I'm talking very like dumb person, regular person. This shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Stop fucking around with it while adjusting the law to molecules. Like, what is that? The people are eating people's faces, dog.
Yeah,
like, no,
bro, it's
keep that shit out of the
people
country.
Running in front of cars.
You can just send it in. Oh man, why are you doing Flakka? I met a homeless dude. He was like, yo, I got arrested last night. It wasn't my fault. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why wasn't your fault? I fell asleep on the street. I was so tired. I'm like, oh man, from being, because you don't get a lot of sleep being homeless. I understand. He goes, well, I met my friend down here and he wanted to smoke some weed. And then after we started smoking, he told me it was K2. And I'm like, oh, you couldn't tell the difference between K2 and weed? He said, I just thought it was some bum weed or whatever. I'm like, damn, man. K2? Why would you smoke that shit? You know what I mean? I figured since I already started, I might as well just finish it.
I mean,
I'm like, bruh,
He's not a quitter.
you know what that shit does. Like, when you know what... You ever see that Key and Peele skit?
Yeah.
Like, dropping glass into his eye or whatever?
Here's a better scenario, though. What if you're in jail and you haven't smoked weed forever and all there is around
Don't
is
smoke
KT2?
weed. You don't smoke weed.
I might hit it once.
If you're in jail, you don't smoke weed. You don't fucking drink alcohol. You don't do anything.
You've been in there for life?
No. Okay. Obviously, that's a different scenario altogether, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's like, what are you going to give me more life?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I'm smoking K2.
That's a different... K2?
Yeah. If that's all there is and I got life in prison, I might even do some Flakka.
I would hate to... I don't know. That shit fucks you up, man. Like, that's like
You're in jail for life. You might as well
but
go fuck up some prison guards. Take some Flakka. Do it. That would be the only scenario I think you should take Flakka. Is if you were in jail for
that's
life.
That's why you're in jail in the first place. That thing.
Go hard. Go home.
No. You don't go deeper into the hole that you fucking dug for yourself.
You got life.
Nah, man. You just
life.
get better, man. You would just try to better yourself.
Oh, like Tukey and make like children's cartoon books?
Maybe.
You should take a little Flakka though.
That's what, and I pray to whoever you believe, if it exists out there, that I never find myself in a scenario where I'm in prison for life.
No.
Or at all. But I'd like to think that's kind of the approach I would try to take outside of trying to keep certain people off my pretty ass.
So would you boof a razor or take some Flakka if you were in a prison fight?
Why would those be my options in a fight?
If you're gonna be in a prison riot, your only two options is to boof. You know what boof is?
Like you put it in your ass, right?
Yeah.
Take out your ass.
So you put a razor in your ass.
No, I got you.
Take some
I got
Flakka
it right away when you said it. I didn't need it.
If you're in a prison riot,
I'm saying, why are those my two options?
Because you gotta either go berserk and snap people's neck or start cutting people.
Why can't I just fight?
Nah.
I mean, if I'm gonna get my ass whooped in jail, I'd rather
fight.
I'd rather fight. I'd rather just fight so people see me fighting, and at least I get that.
I would go take some Flakka and go berserk. I would boof a razor and take Flakka. I'm going down, and I got my paperwork to prove I had to snitch.
Yo, that there's an argument for it. I can't say there is an argument for it. I'm just curious why those are the only two options, and why is it gotta be a razor? Jesus Christ. Something like
that's all I hear about when I listen to
like a stack of quarters. You know what I mean?
I've been on hard like YouTube prison
boof a stack of quarters.
YouTube some prison like the prison reform channels like just got out and 23 and locked out, whatever. Those are great stories in there.
Yeah.
A lot of them include boofing shit.
Oh my god! The only one which I think at some points included that was. The ones I like to watch is the guy who does like cooking tutorials about how you cook, like how he would make shit in prison.
Yeah. I think that's the same.
This is the homie, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It usually involves hot Cheetos some type of way.
Pizza dough from like crushed up crackers.
The most amazing, and they like put it in a bag and put it in like boiling water or whatever to mimic the wash machine or whatever. I love that shit.
The
resourcefulness. I do. I've never made one. I've always wanted to make one. But that guy is awesome. And but like I think there was a spice that they wanted to use one time and had to get in a certain way. That's why boofing came in. I don't know if I'm remembering that right.
Prison life is real as fuck.
Yeah, man. I will say in a weird way, respect to them, I guess.
For surviving.
Yeah, man, that's just rough. It shouldn't be the way it is, man. So, I mean, you made some mistakes, and I think the majority of people in prison are probably not like bad people necessarily.
Not if you're from Norway.
They just made some mistakes. They got put in circumstances, and there they go. I
don't think they're boofing anything in Norway.
They don't have to. They can file a lawsuit because their PlayStation fucking 3 isn't coming in.
Kimberly, give us the facts on this Flakka shit.
Thank you.
Phraydoe, you were wrong.
I know.
After researching Flakka, I'm gonna have to side with the tall guy.
Okay.
Thompson is right yet again. Even though he doesn't accept me or understand who I am, he is right about not legalizing all drugs. This shit called Flakka is no joke. Why the fuck would anyone take this drug? To quote a famous rapper Flakka Flame, This shit go hard in the motherfucking paint. Leave you stankin' nigga. What the fuck you thankin' nigga? Here are the facts, boys.
Yo, the Flakka quote.
In some parts of the country, it is also called gravel because of its white crystal chunks that have been compared to aquarium gravel. The man-made drug causes a high similar to cocaine. But like bath salts, a group of related synthetic drugs that were banned in 2012, Flakka has the potential to be much more dangerous than cocaine. It's so difficult to control the exact dose of Flakka, said Jim Hall, a drug abuse epidemiologist at Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Just a little bit of difference in how much is consumed can be the difference between getting high and dying.
I wonder what a little bit is.
A small overdose of the drug,
And
which
what
can be
small
smoked,
is.
injected, snorted or injected, can lead to a range of extreme symptoms, excited delirium, as experts call it, marked by violent behavior, spikes in body temperature, 105 degrees and higher,
right?
Hall said, paranoia. Probably what has brought Flakka the most attention is that it gives users what feels like the strength and fury of the Incredible Hulk.
Think of a zombie.
Deadly high, how synthetic drugs are killing kids. Flakka stories are starting to pile up. A man in South Florida who broke down the hurricane-proof doors of a police department admitted to being on Flakka. A girl in Melbourne, Florida, ran through the streets.
Yo, I gotta
she was
kill you.
while on a
I gotta go at your neck. Like if a guy, like we go back to the scenario where my firefighter neighbor, I gotta go at your neck. I gotta like try to get behind that Adam's apple and just rip that throat out if I can. That's my only chance.
He's gonna do that to you.
He ripped off a hurricane door
at a jail. At a jail.
To get into jail. Why was there? What the fuck, son?
Yo, that's
no
Flakka.
way. That's so scary. And
I'm taking Flakka out of prison, right?
They just do it. You ever see anybody on that shit?
I don't know. I've seen people wilding out, not to the level of some of these videos we're gonna watch, but I have seen people. But it's a borderline.
You
like
don't
sometimes
really
you see
know,
people, not like I said, not running in front of cars doing crazy shit, but like just on the street like a zombie. But sometimes people have mental disorders too. Like some homeless people could be dealing with paranoid schizophrenia or whatever.
I mean, the way they live, man. I always wonder where homeless people are going. You ever think that?
Nowhere.
About that? But I'm saying, like, you'll see them walking.
Smoke. Yeah.
Where are you going?
Hustling, bro. They're figuring out where they're going to make that buck to eat. All they're worried about is eating and getting high or maybe drunk.
What do you mean? All homeless people are trying to get high?
Most of the people that you see wandering around going somewhere, they're looking for an opportunity to make some money, to eat, right? Get high or get drunk. You know what I mean? And maybe if you have some money left over, a place to stay. I know this because I used to talk to a lot of the homeless people. When I worked the door at the club downtown 57 West, I made a lot of homeless friends, you know? Because at first I was on some like, I'm downtown to be like conscious rapper, positive, you know, humble poet.
Humble poet.
Bro.
Forgot about that guy.
Let me try to connect to as many people as possible because one, that type of shit always gives me inspiration to write music and stuff like that. Hearing people's stories, and at that time I was way more open to that shit. You're gonna catch me talking to no homeless person now unless there's like an absolute reason. I see somebody in like absolute like maybe with some kids or something.
So you're not gonna talk to homeless people?
Not because I started to notice that especially single men downtown, a lot of homeless men are kind of just like big kids. There's a small percentage that really have mental issues and they're just fucked, and it's just better that they live like that. You know, like Freeman, great artist, downtown Orlando's like folk, I would say folk artist, been doing street art since like the 80s in Orlando. Right. Take that man out of his element, take him away from alcohol, take him away from getting arrested for crack every now. He's not going to make that dope art. So people like that, you just kind of leave alone. But the majority of people don't want to live society's rules, right? Get a job, dress, you know, clean, just basic stuff that they think society implements on them and they feel oppressed by it. So they're going to just do whatever the fuck they want. Get high, get drunk, come up on an opportunity, you know, live according to their rules. And there's some people that, you know, is that right or wrong? You know what I mean?
I'm sure
it's your way of living.
I'm sure there's a good group of them that what you just said applies to, but I'm sure there's plenty that just because of some Tristan used to say we're one tragedy away from being homeless.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people like that, but those are not. We're talking about the people that you're talking about. Just go. Where are you going? Where are you going?
No, even those people, bro. Like something bad happens, man, and that shit just keeps cascading on you. I had lunch with a high school friend recently, and she was telling me that she was homeless for a couple months. She had to live in her car.
Yeah, but that's not streetwalkers. That's not the people we're talking about.
No, listen,
I've been homeless.
I know you're saying. I know you're saying. What I'm saying is, she was homeless for 6 months. She had family. She had a support system. Not really a support system. She had people that was alive that was part of her family, and she didn't get that help. So when somebody like, that's the beginning of it. She's fine because it ends up being fine for her. But like, that's the beginning of it, and then it just cascades down and further, and the snowball effect gets bigger. Next thing you know, you're fucking walking up and down Edgewater, doing what you're talking about.
I just think there's a separation. There's like, I've been down on my luck before. Me and my mom have been technically homeless, living house to house, living on the street in the car sometimes. I've been at that level. My mom also was an addict to certain things, you know what I mean? So there was a reason that we were in those circumstances. And there's even a smaller percent of people that just have bad luck.
Yeah.
But there's a strong majority of people that are downtown, mostly single males.
Downtown for sure.
That are there for the opportunity and the hustle, and they don't want to get a job. They don't. That's just, they're living on their. And those. That's why I'm analyzing those type of people that are like, "Where are you going, bro?" Like, always on a mission. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, you got $1? Yo, let me get a cigarette.
They're not necessarily at the library looking for a job.
No,
or whatever.
They're not trying to change it. They're
just
cool with it.
Walking somewhere.
They have accepted. They're like, I'm just gonna live with. And then there's people with schizophrenia that we're talking about on the Flakkas.
All sorts of people, I guess.
Going in full circle,
where
I think drugs like this exist for people that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because it's an easy opportunity. It's cheap.
As fuck.
It's the same dude that. Why are you smoking the K2?
Why are you smoking the K2?
Why are you smoking the K2?
You just can't get right. Like, damn, dog.
I want to escape.
I want to help you, but like, what are you doing? Even in the conversation, he showed me a picture of his kids. And I've helped this dude a couple times, but then I stopped. I was like, bro, just because I anyway, fuck that part. He showed me a picture of his kids. He's holding up hundreds, stacks. It's like, what is this? And he was like, oh, this is, I've been in jail for extorting, not extorting. He lied on some forms for like $250,000 from the government or something like that. So he got like a check for lying on some forms and health care or some shit like that. I don't know what it was exactly. So he got this big ass check, and that's what he did with it. He took pictures on the internet with stacks of cash, and I was like, "Yo, how'd you make this money?" And he goes, "Oh, it doesn't matter." And I'm like, "Yo, that's how you got caught. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you put that on the internet, and now your kid thinks the same thing, Or in the conversation, he was talking about how on the phone, he said he needs to like text some girls or whatever. He's like, his brain was in the wrong place. I'm like, dog, you need to be trying to get yourself out of the situation that you're in, but you're not. You're smoking K2 and falling in the street.
Flakka Flame
in the streets. But I think you're right.
Authorities in the state are warning people about the dangers of the drug. Florida seems to be particularly hard hit by Flakka overdoses.
Flakka.
Hall said that there are about 3 or 4 hospitalizations a day in Broward County in South Florida, and more on weekends. It is unclear why the Sunshine State is a hotbed for Flakka abuse. It's a major question in our community, Hall said. Cases have also been reported in Alabama, Mississippi, and New Jersey. Flakka, which gets its name from Spanish slang for a beautiful woman, la flaca, contains a chemical that is a close cousin to MDPD, a key ingredient in bath salts.
Is what it means.
These chemicals bind and thwart molecules on the surface of neurons that normally keep the levels of mood-regulating neurotransmitters, dopamine, and serotonin, in check. The result is to flood the brain with these chemicals, Hall said. Cocaine and methamphetamine have similar modes of action in the brain, but the chemicals in Flakka have longer-lasting effects, Hall said. Although a typical Flakka high can last 1 to several hours, it is possible that the neurological effects can be permanent. Not only does the drug sit on neurons, it could also destroy them, Hall said. And because Flakka, like bath salts, hang around in the brain for longer than cocaine, the extent of the destruction could be greater.
Wow.
Another serious, potentially lingering side effect of flakka is the effect on kidneys. The drug can cause muscles to break down, as a result of hyperthermia, taking a toll on kidneys. Experts worry that some survivors of flakka overdoses may be on dialysis for the rest of their life.
Oh no.
Like most synthetic drugs, the bulk of flakka seems to come from China and is either sold over the internet or through gas stations or other dealers. A dose can go for $3 to $5, which makes it a cheap alternative to cocaine. Dealers often target young and poor people and also try to enlist homeless people to buy and sell,
and you're gonna eat
Paul
people.
said. These are people who are already disadvantaged in terms of chronic disease and access to health care, he added. It is unclear at this point whether flakka is more dangerous than the bath salts that came before it. But it does have one advantage over its predecessor: it has not been banned yet. Flakka largely emerged as a replacement to MDVP and bath salts, said Lucas Watterson, a postdoctoral researcher at Temple University School of Medicine Center for Substance Abuse Research. Although the Drug Enforcement Administration has placed a temporary ban on flakka, drug makers can work around this ban, such as by sticking a not for human consumption label on the drug, Watterson said. It will probably take several years to get the data necessary to put a federal ban on flakka, he added. And a ban can be effective, at least in discouraging potential users. The problem is when one of these drugs is banned or illegal, the drug manufacturer responds by producing a number of different alternatives, Watterson said. It's sort of a flavor of the month. Hey, race the science. Pyrrolidinopentiophenone, also known as pyrrolidinophenone, APVP, 02387, S-eskedoprolintane, prolantanin, or dysmethylpyrovalerone, is a synthetic stimulant of the cathinone class developed in the 1960s that has been sold as a designer drug. Colloquially, it is sometimes called flakka. APVP is chemically related to pyrovalerone and is the ketone analog of prolantane. Adverse effects. APVP, like other psychostimulants, can cause hyperstimulation, paranoia, and hallucinations. APVP has been reported to be the cause, or a significant contributory cause of death in suicides and overdoses caused by combinations of drugs. APVP has also been linked to at least one death with pulmonary edema and moderately advanced atherosclerotic coronary disease when it was combined with pentadrone.
Fuck is that? Is that a heart attack?
If they would have just named it athalep or apophyline, nobody would be taking that shit to the street.
Yeah, because you can't ask for it. Yo, you get some of that
Asalapalapapine?
Osama Lama Obama.
I wonder who named it Flakka. Somebody from the hood. Some Gucci Mane-esque street character.
Well, you
from
said it's
Fort
Spanish,
Lauderdale.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been some Spanish Cuban dude.
Had to be, right?
Jose named that shit.
Why do you do that, man?
Even
when they say it's mostly poor people or whatever, it's like, why would you do that?
If you don't know any better, this is what we're talking about. The guys that get raised in the gang.
You know better, though. You see
how? What if your parents are drug addicts and shit?
At this point, you know what the fuck Flakka does.
Because of social media?
Yeah. Why is there still people doing Flakka?
People don't care about themselves, man. It's like the dude that jumps off, like, you ever seen the backyard wrestling? Mm-hmm. Why the fuck would you throw yourself off a roof into ladders?
For showmanship and to try to get views and to be a wrestler because there's a passion and a pageantry and theatrics to doing that.
True.
Why break up glass and put it in your eye? You know what I mean? Like that, the skit.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you're going to... Okay, so what's how often does that happen? You get high and eat somebody, get high and freak out?
A lot in Fort Lauderdale, apparently, in that whole area.
I'm saying, like, as a user. Like, if I was a user, because I assume people are users, right?
I don't know.
Not just when it's done.
I think that's what happens. Because some of these stories, people get, like, spiced into it.
Let's see.
There is growing alarm over a cheap and highly addictive synthetic drug known as Flakka.
Flakka!
It causes all sorts of paranoid, even deadly behavior. In South Florida, it's being compared to the crack cocaine epidemic of the 80s, and it's often sold through the mail. Our senior investigative correspondent, Cynthia McFadden, has the story from the epicenter of the epidemic, Fort Lauderdale.
Nice words.
Fort Lauderdale is under siege from a new synthetic drug called Flakka. It's creating a crisis for county resources and sending 20 users a day to the overwhelmed emergency room.
They have superhuman strength. They're psychotic, belligerent. It takes a lot of people to hold them down.
People like these, often stripping off their clothes as their temperatures soar up to 105 degrees. Flakka-related deaths in Broward County in the last year, 60.
Of all the drugs that I've seen, cocaine, amphetamines, heroin,
It looks about a little bit like white people, black people, Spanish people. Everybody's taking the
spotted
shit.
Oxycontin. This is the absolute worst.
Part of its appeal, it's so cheap.
$5 will get you high.
$5 get you high.
I remember just running, feeling like people were chasing me.
In March, Stephanie thought she was smoking pot.
Stephanie looks like crystal meth a little bit.
But it was laced with Flakka, a white granular powder.
Where did you end up? On top of a bridge?
On top of a bridge, but I still was seeing
Crystal
people
method.
chase me and was still completely paranoid, so I jumped.
Falling 3 stories into the water.
30 seconds!
Fort Lauderdale police say most of their drug raids these days are for Flakka.
What happened to Stephanie? I guess she's confined. I want the rest of the story.
Police Department search warrants! Let me see your hands!
This raid yielding 140 doses and multiple users. Down the street at the Fort Lauderdale bus terminal, we saw 3 deals go down in under an hour.
How does she know that they're dealing Flakka right there? Like, they could be dealing anything.
She didn't say Flakka.
The guy in the white t-shirt with the black pants?
She said
The
deal.
heavyset guy
Yeah.
clapping his hands, yes.
Yeah. Known dealer.
Yes, ma'am.
Flakka is manufactured in China. It has been easily bought online and delivered in the mail here in the U.S.
Some of the companies even offer, if your product is seized by authorities, we'll replace it free of charge.
Crazy.
Dealers can get rich quick. A kilo that costs $1,500 online has a street value of $50,000.
This is the Silicon Valley of drug smuggling.
And it doesn't take a large drug smuggling organization
Where's Mark
to bring it in.
Zuckerberg?
Sometimes the organization is
Is
a
that Kodak
college
Black?
kid who hires his friends.
There's not much of a barrier here for a startup.
We're calling it the devil's drug.
Ray Rapaglia runs a drug
Nice,
rehab
Ray.
center in Fort Lauderdale
Ray Rapaglia.
and says Flakka users present a challenge.
We're not as inclined to accept them in our program because we know that they might relapse. They pose safety threats to the rest of our residents.
But he decided to take a chance on Stephanie. Now 8 months clean and living, she says, for her daughter.
I know for sure that I'm lucky to be alive right now. It's by the grace of God that I'm alive.
Flakka, also known as gravel, has spread to other parts of the country, including Chicago, Houston, and Kentucky, as well as New York. Under pressure from the U.S., the Chinese recently made the manufacturing and exporting of Flakka illegal.
Thank you,
the
Chinese
effect here in the
people.
U.S. is yet to be seen.
Some frightening stuff. Cynthia.
Wow.
Shit's crazy, bro.
50 gram.
You want to get into selling some? That's a good come up, bro. 1,500 to 50 grand. Makes you think, if you're poor, if you're in that situation, why not get into it? You know what I mean?
Because you're going to die.
Realize all that, but you're looking at it as like a street entrepreneur. They're just looking for that money. I mean, that's what happened when crack came in.
You see what happened? A bunch of people died. All money ain't good money.
A cheap new designer drug is causing havoc in cities across America. The drug is called Flakka. It can cause bizarre and violent reactions when people take it. It's hit Illinois, Ohio, Texas, Kentucky, California, and Florida, especially hard.
Florida!
Mark Albert is in Washington
Nice.
with a look at
Way
the
to go.
new threat that's alarming the police and the doctors, too. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. It's a drug that is
All right.
described
I just
as
took
being
some.
more
We'll see what happens.
powerful than heroin or cocaine. And medical experts and
Yeah,
law
I
enforcement
want to see some investigative reporting.
Like, let's see
these
it.
motherfuckers take this shit.
How serious do you take your craft?
Mr. Albert.
are warning of the dangers not just to users, but to anyone who gets in their way. These videos show what can happen when Flakka takes over.
I am God! I am God right now! I am life!
Psychotic breakdowns, hallucinations, and indiscriminate...
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the
this
guy.
is the guy.
This is the guy
Right.
that broke down the storm shutters at the
well,
police
not storm
department.
shutter. Hurricane-proof doors. That's this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
violence. Last month, an
He's fucking that shit
82-year-old
up.
great-grandmother died weeks after being randomly attacked in her Riviera Beach, Florida home
Oh,
by a
Jesus
man who
Christ.
police say was high on Flakka. This man impaled himself on a fence at the Fort Lauderdale police station.
What the
while on
fuck?
drugs.
Impaled?
Mike Haney, who lives near Chicago, says he doesn't remember what he did for 2 days after unwittingly taking Flakka.
I was completely out of my mind. I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself.
Flakka, also known as gravel, is a synthetic stimulant, a cousin of the drug found in bath salts. It's an ever-changing mixture of various substances and can come in a capsule or powder. Users can
kind of looks like Molly
or inject the drug. Florida is now the epicenter of the outbreak.
Yeah.
5 Flakka-related deaths in South Florida's Broward County in the past 10 months alone. Special Agent Kevin Stanfill in Miami is leading the DEA's Flakka
So
fight.
this is like 4 years ago. This right here. I wonder what it is now today.
They're not only just getting high, they're going out, they're hurting other people. You don't see that with a lot of the other drugs like you are with Flakka right now.
Stanfill says Flakka is often imported from China. It's up to 10 times cheaper than the synthetic drug cocktail Molly, just $3 to $5 per hit, and easier to get.
Yeah, but instead of like partying and drinking a lot of water and having sex with your girlfriend, you're like screaming at people,
running head on into a cop car,
like impaling yourself, jumping off some shit and impaling yourself. Am I gonna be in my house broke and mad, or am I gonna spend $3, take a hit of this shit, and kill everybody in this house?
Molly costs a little bit more.
Yeah, or just don't.
Molly
do
does
drugs.
cost more.
Or don't do drugs.
Yeah, but it's not that easy.
It is pretty easy.
Get high when you're an addict. You're an addict.
If you don't have money, if you're an addict, you're an addict. Is that how long, or at what point are we as a society gonna just say fuck that excuse for stuff like this? Listen, bro, you want to fucking do heroin till that shit comes out of your ears in your house or in the park, even, bro. Like, up in the mountains somewhere on some path, dip off, whatever. That's on wonderful. Have a great time. But when you start fucking killing me, again,
killing old ladies,
this motherfucker, old ladies, what?
Like, why would you kill an old lady?
He's an addict. He's sick. Fuck that, bro. Flakka. That's just gonna make you fuck with other people.
Yeah.
Stop it.
That's exactly where I was like, Thompson's right, because every other drug we usually talk about, it really doesn't affect other people.
Not really. Drinking and driving,
Yeah.
But not really. It's the family, maybe. It affects them because the dad's cokehead or whatever.
Right.
And he's slapping around the mom. But what he's not doing is walking to his neighbor house and slapping him, and then walking across the street and slapping him.
And then going to the sheriff's office and trying to ring the door down.
Jumping off of shit. Nah, bro. Like, nah. Hard not.
Delivered to your door.
I feel for those officers that are going to be out on patrol and they roll up on somebody and they are on Flakka and they have that superhuman strength. Where it takes 6 policemen to hold them down, that's a problem.
Brad Lamb is an addiction interventionist in Los Angeles. His practice had no Flakka patients just 8 weeks ago. Now they've had a dozen people calling for help.
The drug takes away all the inhibitions and also erases the body's ability to tamp down on dopamine and serotonin. So you just feel like you can do anything. I think that we're going to see waves of this that are going to be very, very devastating.
Lamb says even proactive parents who give their teens urine tests after suspecting drug use are stunned. Those who make Flakka are constantly changing its makeup so as to fool common tests.
The old reliable drug test that you get at the corner store will not show positive for this drug. They're not even able to test for it yet. It's just not included. It's ahead of the curve.
Lamb told us patients on this drug take several weeks longer to recover than those on meth. Now, often the key ingredient in Flakka is known as alpha-PVP. The DEA's Miami division told us in just the first 6 months of this year, it seized 3.5 times the amount of alpha-PVP than is seized in all of last year.
That's what the Kimberly was saying, right?
Yeah. The variable of this drug, too, is getting naked. Everybody seems to be naked on this drug.
They're hot, right?
105 degrees. You just strip your clothes off.
Of course.
There's growing concern in Florida over a number of bizarre crimes linked to a street drug called Flakka.
I remember thinking he looked like a undersea, like if people from Atlantis.
Snorted, smoked,
I think that's how they would look.
Or even swallowed. So what is this new drug? Here to talk about it is Dr. John LaPook. So what is Flakka, John?
Flakka is the latest in these generation of amphetamine-like drugs. So it's the next thing after, Molly, MDMA, ecstasy. These are things that increase the amount of amphetamine effect in your body. What amphetamines do is they increase dopamine, the pleasure chemical, and serotonin and norepinephrine, all these neurotransmitters.
So you're like in pleasure while you're beating the shit out of someone. I'm telling you, bro, this is the riot drug.
Well, doesn't it flood other parts of your brain instead of parts that, like, similar to pedophiles? They're and here we go, dumb people talking about science and shit, biology, but they do scans on human brains, and when something excites them, a certain part of the brain lights up. That's the
dopamine.
Well, I don't know if it's the dopamine, but that's what the dopamine does. I guess it gives that pleasure. So your brain's like, yeah. So certain drugs just overload that pleasure. It floods it with the pleasure, whatever. Pedophiles, that same action or different action lights up the whole brain. Like it fucking, the dopamine, I don't know if the dopamine goes everywhere. I don't know how exactly it works, obviously, because I'm stupid. But I'm thinking it's similar. I mean, with Flakka, just like, so pedophiles can't stop themselves from touching kids, even though they know it's wrong. These people it does probably work like 1,000 times worse. It just floods the whole, like, so it's supposed to be maybe going here, but it just goes every fucking place. And it creates this crazy, uncontrollable Hulk of a person.
Yeah, you probably get a little effects of like every drugs. You get the cocaine high by being up, probably hallucinating like acid.
People running after
probably like feel like you're on ecstasy because you're hot and shit.
Yeah, man.
Damn. Super drug.
He needs some milk.
Alpha Pelantrin PVP.
Alpha.
Initially more alert, euphoric, things like that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of side effects.
And what are some of those side effects?
Well, you're
anal leakage,
impaling yourself.
Coming in. It reminds me of angel dust in the early 80s, phencyclidine, PCP. And I was in the emergency room at Columbia back then, and I'd know somebody who came in dusted because they'd come in with 7, policemen holding down every part of their body, and they would be like, have superhuman strength. And it sounds like this is a very similar thing. When you have this flood of too much,
can't just knock them
all
out.
These neurotransmitters, you can have too high.
Not even tasers work.
Your blood pressure. Can
at that point,
you can actually see.
Again, police brutality is the worst shit that people, my skin color, has to deal with as far as the cops or whatever. Besides maybe systematic privatization and penal system, all that stuff. But, if some guy's fucking like killing old ladies, you might need to fuck him up.
Shotgun to the face.
You might need to fuck him up.
Yeah.
You're killing people, and there's 6 of us.
Straight Walking Dead shit.
Fuck your shit up real quick. Knock you out. Hopefully, I don't give you permanent brain damage. That's all I'm saying.
You should have like the Flakka gun in your car.
The Flakka gun.
Yeah, especially through Fort Lauderdale.
But then they'd start using the Flakka gun for...
I thought he was on Flakka.
Yeah. No, we can't do that. We can't give him a special weapon to misuse again. As always, the answer is not more guns. Okay?
Somebody who's taking an amphetamine drug, their eyes, their pupils dilate. They can have sweaty palms. Those are kind of mild side effects. But the serious one can lead to irregular heartbeat, seizure, death, too much.
That's a lot of Flakka
high
right
blood
there.
high temperature in the body.
So how much is a kilo? One of those, right?
Every single organ system. If you just go down them, every single organ system can be affected.
In fact, we have video from earlier showing a guy who was high on this stuff trying to break down the door of a police station. There it is right there, which just shows you what it also does to your logical and rational reasoning.
Meanwhile, inside of your brain, what's happening is
The temperature can go up, and you can actually have bleeding.
A couple of drunk people sort of just walking home.
So this is, one of the problems with this, aside from, you forget about the philosophical idea of whether you want to be taking mind-altering drugs. You're taking drugs where you really don't know what's in them.
Because these are, we keep saying that, they're synthetic. Somebody created them in a laboratory.
Flakka's in it.
Are you trusting your life to some unknown person
Yeah.
in some unknown place who's going to put the exact right dose that you think it has? Even if
Isn't
you
that
think
like
it's
every
okay to
drug
take it.
besides
You don't
weed?
know what it's laced
and
with.
even weed sometimes.
Even weed sometimes, bro.
So like, yeah,
Remember when there was
pretty
like
much.
folklore about people spraying weed with like roach spray.
Yeah. It tastes like it sometimes. It's like, what the fuck?
Hey, you never know. You don't know what the dosage is, and then if you start doing things like vaping, where you have a
Vaping
like a
Flakka.
type delivery system, it can go right into your bloodstream. Wow. You can get a really quick effect, quick hit.
Yo,
So
pretty much,
really-
if you guys are trying to Flakka, is that what it's called? Or dust yourself or
It's
whatever?
like the sugar cubicle stuff.
Gravel yourself. Be sure to rewind the last however long we've been doing this, because we're giving you step-by-step instructions how to get high as shit. Every time I hear this, people are talking about different ways, and oh my god, look at the side effects are death. You know what I mean? But if you're not dead, your crazy ass is extremely agitated. You're sweating because your heart rate is super high. You're fucking mad because there's fake creatures chasing you. That's like your idea of getting high on this stuff. That's
For
so
$5.
crazy. Like,
just buy it for
Flakka is the McDonald's of drugs. You know?
It's kind of like the burrito at the gas station.
It's the burrito at the gas station, dog. It's like the boiled egg in the package at the gas station. It's the worst. What are you doing? Don't eat that. There's no reason to eat that. You don't even really like boiled eggs. You're just feeling like eating something. Stop it. Stop it.
I looked at a graph earlier, and I saw that ecstasy, criminal activity, use of ecstasy and criminal activity was sort of going down, and now this is kind of going back up. So it's the next wave. I mean, it's kind of spy versus spy versus spy. I guess it's illegal to have, but you can't make every single solitary chemical illegal. So they change it up a little bit, and then maybe it's harder to detect, or maybe this version's not illegal. And
But this sounds more dangerous. You mentioned ecstasy. It sounds more dangerous to ecstasy because I don't know anything about this, but I know that
you know you was taking some ecstasy.
No,
You
you
was
say
like
ecstasy, but
ecstasy.
you know.
from reading that ecstasy gives you pleasure. This sounds like it gives you that idea of like superhuman strength, which
Well,
makes you
it's all
aggressive.
a matter of dosage. So I think ecstasy has the same problem.
It does.
In the right dose, you can get this effect. But even in the right dose, these drugs, long term, can cause organ damage: liver, kidneys, heart, irregular heartbeats. Really, there's no free lunch when it comes
Broken
to
heel
And
from
here,
hitting the
though,
damn
you-
door
you're
at the
talking about
cop.
vaping it, and having it go right into your blood.
Where's the police at though? They're just like off duty for real.
Just watching. Sorry,
stream so quickly, you definitely can get a high dose very, very rapidly.
Are they addictive?
Amphetamines are addictive.
Yeah, they are. So
they are
it can be something like we've seen with crystal meth, for example. Is that considered an amphetamine?
Yeah, that is an amphetamine, and
Yeah, it's a
they-
methamphetamine.
one is they can have the release.
fucking journalist.
They make the amphetamine-like chemicals and the serotonin, dopamine get released, and then they stop them from getting metabolized or retaken up by the nerve endings. So you have this flood of neurotransmitters, all of this effect going on, and the body has a natural way of getting rid of it, and it stops that natural way of getting rid of it. So you have this flood, all of this activity. Initially, the reason why you take it is it can give you euphoria, and it can increase attention, it can increase alertness. But then again,
Then you're
long-term,
jumping off a
you're
bridge.
definitely be paying the piper, and especially because you have no idea what the dosage is.
Yeah.
Wow, bro. Nah, man. It's all bad. But where can we get some? Should we do a
We're about
test?
to find out. This is the underground.
The way it did in my city.
You have a patient that has overdosed? At the height of the epidemic, how many people were
It's
coming
kinda
through
loud.
this door? We had anywhere between 5 and 8 patients a day. I'd never seen patients in such an excited delirium state as I had with Flakka. Patients completely physically out of control of their own bodies.
Some won't be homeless, some won't be addicts, some won't be normal people. I can't really judge, I don't really count it. The only thing I count is the money.
everywhere in the community, and it's cheaper. You can actually become a dealer of Flakka with $2,000 and become rich.
A lot of people believe that the chemist who made it, his original purpose was to replace crack.
I think synthetics has just opened up an entire Pandora's box of so many different chemical pathways that we can go down.
It's coming under different names, different chemical structures. Every time I turn around, there's a new type of stimulant that's out there. Of course, all synthetic based.
They're gonna smoke, bro. They're gonna come back and love this shit.
Broward County.
A few years ago, a drug came on the scene in Florida called Flakka. People began comparing its arrival to a zombie outbreak, or even
Yo, she's just dancing.
because of the amount of viral videos and sensationalist news reports of alleged Flakka overdoses that began to flood the internet. The most infamous report of Flakka use was when one guy allegedly ate a homeless man's face off while on the side of a highway. From this man attempting to break into a police station and smashing hurricane-proof glass because he thought he was being chased while on the drug.
They're on a psychotic stage, they may have superhuman strength.
To this guy, being tased with 2 tasers at the same time and it not stopping him. Or this man, who ran naked through the back window of a parked car.
Wow!
Seem to be endless.
Oh, fuck!
Flakka is a man-made drug similar to bath salts. Bath salts come from a synthetic cathinone that affects the central nervous system and are designed to mimic the effects of cocaine, methamphetamine, MDMA, or ecstasy.
They're getting it wrong.
Flakka can be ingested by sniffing, snorting, smoking, or injection. When ingested, dopamine levels in the brain increase, causing feelings of euphoria and heightened alertness. At the same time, a surge of norepinephrine is produced in the brain, raising heart rates and blood pressure, and then causing what doctors call excited delirium, where the body experiences extreme temperatures and paranoia. The mind can start to hallucinate, and this often leads to violent aggression, self-injury, and in some cases, death.
Some cool yoga positions.
They went straight to downward dog and didn't breathe deeply. Oh yeah,
So
and
we
then you
managed to get
died.
in touch with someone who distributes Flakka to travelers.
Yeah, but I was high for a little bit right at the beginning.
His girlfriend also uses it several times a day, so we're gonna go meet them now. After everything we've seen and heard about this drug, to be honest, I'm less worried about the guy selling it than I am about the person who might be on it.
She just got to dose it right.
So why did you decide to start selling Flakka?
Pretty much there was like a supply for crack. And me and a partner of mine realized that it was just going to be a cheaper alternative.
What were the benefits for you economically to sell Flakka rather than crack?
And now it's a Flakka online, bro. Like when it was first around, it was just alpha PVP. It was a new cathinone. All the black markets were listening to all the major sites on the dark web had it. You sell somebody an ounce for like $100 compared to 800 to 1,000 for crack.
Right.
It's just numbers.
Was Flakka designed to be a replacement for crack?
A lot of people believe that the chemist who made it, his original purpose was to replace crack. And once we brought it, it just fit in perfectly. Most of the drugs in China are analogs for what we already have.
So you were making like good money from Flakka for a while.
Yeah.
Everyone was doing it. And then what happened?
Around 2016, China, which was the main supplier of most of our research chemicals, they banned Flakka, alpha PVP. Not long after, all the black markets started listing alpha PHP. Just by the name and like the structure, you compare it to the old one, it was very similar. It's still a cathinone, comes from the same plant. So we just started ordering that, breaking it up, bagging it up, and just dropping it off to the traps, you feel me?
It's basically, all they did was just give it a slight rebrand, change the chemical structure, and all of a sudden they can legally produce it.
Exactly. The effects are almost the same.
So do you have any Flakka with you today?
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing that, you know, a drug has now come out that could replace like the crack epidemic.
This is the one. That's what's gonna replace the crack epidemic. Making 2 ways to smoke it. Some people like to smoke it just flat.
Yeah.
They'll empty the pen out, use it as a straw to suction it through.
Okay.
Some people will make like a little bowl or pipe with it and just put it right there and try to vaporize it at the bottom.
So for you, is Flakka kind of like a party drug?
No, I use it more for recreational use.
Okay.
I work.
Isn't that the same thing as partying?
Okay, so it actually helps you with your work.
How some people.
She meant medicinal. She was trying to say medicinal.
That's how you use Flakka?
Yeah.
And how often would you say you do it?
A day?
Yeah.
4 or 5 times?
4 or 5 times a day?
Yeah. But not a lot. Depends.
Right. Have you ever had a bad reaction to it?
No, because I don't do too much.
Have you ever seen anyone have a bad reaction to it?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was at somebody's house, and he ran in the backyard and kind of took his shirt off, and he was kind of like talking to God in Spanish. It was a whole weird.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So you saw someone have like a bad reaction to it, but that didn't turn you off?
He took a lot.
Oh, okay.
A real lot in like a very short period of time.
Okay.
And he just, I guess.
So this shit's probably good.
They're not. It's not good. It's just they're overdosing.
It's probably some good shrooms. You just can't take too much.
It's an overdose, is what it is.
Yeah.
We're looking at overdoses.
Yeah.
I thought, maybe I didn't if I never actually sat and thought about it, but I thought that's just what happens, and it happens a lot.
Right.
But that's an overdose. Still, my position hasn't changed, but I'm just thinking of it as drunk driving. You can drink alcohol, just fucking don't drink and drive. But I don't know, you can't control
but
yourself.
alcohol doesn't have a label on it that
Right.
says do not consume.
But that's so funny. How you think that's gonna stop people from overdosing?
No.
But that overdose is dangerous, bro. Can't be having that around people.
Hey.
The overdose himself. It's mostly just a very stimulating feeling, for me at least. I guess it depends on the amount that you do.
Maybe she's like a psychopath.
No, there's fucking people who smoke crack and they're fine. What's it called? Functional
flakkas.
How quickly does it take effect?
Relatively fast.
What?
Now?
Like now.
She starts flipping shit over.
Yeah, like now.
So what do you feel?
Like I could get up.
I want to tear your face off.
You feel like restless or?
Those are cool socks.
You're borderline angry that you can't find anything to do, and you're trying to figure out what you can do, or.
Would you say you're dependent on it?
Yeah.
Stop asking me fucking questions.
How old are you?
I suck his dick for some every
Would you
day.
ever want to seek treatment for that or?
It worries me. I don't want to be dependent on something, but for right now, I'm not having any negative side effects.
I think we learned 2 things from that encounter. 1, obviously not everyone who takes Flakka turns into an insane zombie. And 2, a chemist was still able to come up with a slightly different chemical structure for Flakka, which means that's never going to stop happening. So the scary thing is, we've now entered an era of synthetic drugs. We're at the Holy Cross Hospital in Broward County. This is basically ground zero of the Flakka epidemic. When it first started hitting the streets, people were showing up at this hospital in a state of excited delirium, which meant that their temperature was really high, their adrenaline was pumping at a superhuman rate to their body, giving them superhuman strength. It's all the kind of crazy zombie-like videos that we've seen on YouTube. So we're here to try and find out how that physiologically might occur from a drug like Flakka, but also how does a hospital deal with such a uniquely terrifying crisis that's happening on their streets. Dr. John Kuna is one of the leading medical experts on synthetic drugs at the Holy Cross Hospital, and he saw many patients come in during the height of the Flakka overdoses. At the height of the epidemic, how many people were coming through these doors on Flakka?
We had anywhere between 5 and 8 patients a day would come through the doors with overdoses with Flakka. They could come in really any state. Some of them would walk in just kind of hallucinating, and some of them would be violent and be strapped to a stretcher or on life support when they came in. So it's anywhere in between.
And did you know what was going on when they first started coming in these states?
In the beginning of the epidemic, in the 2014 and early 2015, we really didn't know what it was. We actually heard on the street the name Flakka, and when Flakka,
Did we
we actually
hear it
had
on
to
the
go
streets,
back and research Flakka and come up with a way to train EMS personnel and nursing personnel exactly what to do about that drug.
All these new research chemicals, are they posing new challenges that the crack epidemic didn't?
Correct. So all these synthetic drugs, they all do a little bit different things to the brain. So you may have one drug on the street for a couple of weeks that does one thing, and then the next week or 2 weeks later, you have something that's a little bit different.
With all these new synthetic drugs that are coming out and the difficulties it's posing for you, are you worried?
I think that the government has identified it as a problem, but I really think there's a lot of minds out there that will come up with the next best thing no matter how hard we try. I think synthetics has just opened up an entire Pandora's box of so many different chemical pathways that we can go down that they will
Was there
always
anything good
be
in Pandora's
one step
box?
ahead of the law, and one step ahead of the governmental regulation, and even one step ahead of the medical people that are trying to take care of these patients.
To learn more about the severity of synthetic drugs and how to combat them, we spoke to Paul Falk of United Way's Community Response Team.
Hello, Paul Falk. How are you?
So Flakka was actually so bad that you had to create a specific Flakka action team?
Yes, one of the best moves we did with the
that's
Flakka
a dope
action
title.
team was saying
Flakka action
we
team.
need to.
His name is Paul Flock.
Almost. Falk.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wait, this is the first and last Paul Fall?
Paul Falk.
Go to China and pretty much tell them enough is enough.
So what exactly did China do to clamp down on it?
They just wrote a piece of legislation on their side and pretty much said that this is illegal to manufacture that drug in any of their facilities where they have the ability to manufacture synthetic drugs and chemicals that are mood altering, and including Flakka. And that's what they passed.
And did it work?
Oh, yes. You wasn't seeing it at all. It literally evaporated in the streets of Broward County.
Is there a risk that producers might just, again, slightly alter the chemical structure and then start selling a new drug?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is a 24-hour process with these chemists, always looking for an alternative just in case they ban a particular drug. It's coming under different names, different chemical structures. There's always tied to the base of the molecule compound, but it's always changing.
So it's almost like you're playing a game of kind of whack-a-mole with all these different synthetic substances that are coming up. And as soon as you get rid of Flakka, something else fills the gap.
That's correct.
Would you say we're in a synthetic drug epidemic?
Yes, we are. And unfortunately, not as a state, but as a country. I don't know if we're ever going to get out of it.
So far, everyone
that, a
who's
baseline?
said that Flakka's made me doubt out of trap houses just like crack. So we're actually about to go visit a trap house that does sell Flakka.
Trap.
Well, from the horse's
Trap,
mouth,
trap, trap,
why-
trap.
How they supply people with it.
Tear it up, tear it up. Flakka makes you crazy.
How you, man? Matt, good to meet you. So how do you sell it? Do you sell it out of a trap house like this?
Looks like he prints t-shirts.
Looks like he's a rapper.
House, like personally for my licks, you know what I'm saying? Some people don't like
That's
to
his,
get high and go out, 'cause, you know, they get so high, they act crazy.
So you've got a house where all these people are getting high, doing all the crazy things we've seen, and that must be mad. Like,
It's very mad. It's a fun house. You feel me? You just drop this off.
so what's this?
Yo, if he promotes his mixtape at the end of this,
So how much is this worth?
$750.
So is this the same Flakka that people were using at the height of the epidemic?
The hyper epidemic is honestly it will purr. Right now, a lot of niggas cutting it.
Okay, what's it being cut with?
I mean, stepped on.
Fentanyl.
Oh,
cut
God.
with Baking soda.
Oh,
It depends
God.
how- what it-
Damn.
what it- see, me
Take it
personally,
back
I
to the
don't cut
crack
my
days.
So some people are actually
Yeah,
cutting
you
with
do.
fentanyl?
Yeah, they cut with everything.
Have you seen that lead to kind of an increase in overdoses and?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So many people cutting it. It's not real flop. There's no more. And I don't want that because I don't want my people killing themselves because I have a lot of shooters and I have a lot of smokers.
How have synthetics changed the whole drug trade?
Damn, that shit's all.
Man, it got so many different drugs. You ever heard of alligator?
No.
It's worse than Flakka. It's worse than heroin. Honestly, it's for the big dog.
So do you think that there's always going to be like another new drug?
Yes.
So what could law enforcement do to stop this?
They really can't stop it. The only thing they do is just trying to slow it down. I hate the person that cutting it, because they cutting it, they killing it. See me, I'm not killing them.
Yeah, you are.
I'm just fixing their high.
Nah, you kill them.
I'm just fixing their problems.
Nah, you kill it. You fixing it. How you fixing somebody's problem? I give them medicine.
So we came to find out the truth.
He's a street pharmacist.
Nah, but even medicine's not
a lot
really
of people
fixing
don't have
anything
insurance
necessarily. Like
You ain't
Tylenol,
got an HMO. You got to go down to his.
Ibuprofen just numbs the pain. It doesn't stop the back from being broken or whatever.
That's true. But
So-
if you can't go to the doctor, and you got the homie up the street.
Don't smoke meth.
Flakka.
Don't smoke meth.
The apocalypse we saw on YouTube seems to have died down, and hospitals are experiencing less excited delirium admissions. The danger isn't over. And that's because in the past, there
Different
used to be just
kind
a
of
handful
Flakka.
drugs that police and hospitals had to deal with, whether it was crack, heroin, or meth. Nowadays, there are new drugs that we haven't even heard of until it's too late.
Right.
It's
Homie was like looking at that
appeared
shit.
overnight, left a path
He's like,
of
this for me?
destruction, and then almost instantly reappeared under a new name. We need a new way of thinking about this because the next Flakka
It's like
could
not
already
even
be out
real.
there.
All right. This is what we're really here for.
Oh gosh.
You can see this bitch high as fuck on Flakka.
Literally.
Deerfield Beach, Florida. I always see all these videos on YouTube.
What
She got a good balance though.
Look at this bitch.
Bottle of water?
That's that Flakka for you. Bitch climbing in a tree. Talking to herself and shit.
You seen the one where the lady like was picking at her head?
You okay?
Air plants. They used to get big.
Her
They
neck?
don't get big like that anymore.
You alright?
Air plants. The air is toxic.
I know. Shit's crazy.
Help me down.
I
Help me down the tree. You just see a picture of me, right? That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Will you help me down?
I wish I could.
I can't hear nothing you're saying.
I'm sorry.
By myself. I need help from nobody.
Good old Broward County, Deerfield Beach, Florida. That bitch about to wig the fuck out. Damn.
He trying to fight that shit. Fight that shit, Cole. Fight that shit. Fight that shit.
Oh, he's not fighting. He's losing. Lost. Oh
He's a little close to the street. He's a little close to the street.
Yeah. I don't know his last night. He stay over there.
Oh, like a Russian dude. They're already strong as shit. Oh my god! You see his face? Oh my god, it's scary.
17-е, 30. Человек не вменяет. Тихо, тихо, дойдет.
The cops. No,
Is this her?
this is gonna fuck me up.
Is this the lady you're talking about?
No, it's like she was in the backyard. She was like digging at her neck. Oh god, I can't even look at this shit, dude. You know how uneasy this makes me? I get such a... Oh god. It's like exorcism.
How many pills you popped today?
Bitch, you see popping pills.
I got like 3 hairs, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Well, you're gonna carry off with me. Ready? Damn, girl, you was really up in there. Oh my God, whoa, look at you, girl. God damn. Holy cow. Wow,
Hey.
you go, you the awesome girl. You the
Stay
girl.
off drugs,
Wow,
man.
wow.
Stay off drugs.
You wow, girl.
Stay off drugs. Hey,
Look at you, go, look at
you
you.
need to stop.
Go.
This is what drugs do to you. I'm telling you, stay off of it. See this shit?
Yeah, fuck.
Hey,
What about that?
the mollies, the pills, this shit fuck you up.
Some freak shit. You can start why. Remember someone breaking?
Only in Oregon, man. They're only in Oregon.
Why are you headed? I need the 34.
Yo, this shit is crazy, yo. I feel so bad for her. Like, you can't. That's that Flakka, man. South Florida.
She on the block.
She's kind of doing the Millie Rock.
Kind of, right?
In New York, I'm Millie
Doing the
Rock.
most right now, yo.
You on the flops.
That shit is not funny, bro.
But it's the milk. They're doing a fucking football player.
So you're saying all these people are overdosing?
Mojo?
Yeah, it's what the guy was saying.
You gotta be.
The vice guy was saying.
I don't know. I don't know. That Mojo, bitch.
Once he starts flipping, she gets wet. He needs some milk.
I mean, look at him. Then they making it themselves now. They putting all kind of... Me too.
Yeah.
They putting all kind of shit in that Mojo. Everybody else know what Mojo doing to people.
This lady calls it Mojo.
Keep going back that way.
Where?
Back right. When he first starts flapping around. He's gonna hit
Get
the
him
ground.
some milk.
There it is.
Get him some milk.
He needs some milk.
I didn't know this is the actual video.
I'm scared. I mean, I want them to know what Mojo doing to people.
Get him some milk.
He needs some milk.
He needs some milk.
Y'all go help her, y'all.
I did not know this is a video that he needs some milk.
Open the podcast.
No, I remember like the sound effect, but they used it for so many other different shit. I didn't know this was a specific video.
Get him some milk.
Fuck right on record. I'm letting everybody else know what Mojo doing to people.
This lady, man, she's so necessary to like, cause that's real. That's true. When people are ODing on methamphetamines,
you give them milk.
Milk. I don't know what exactly.
That can't be real.
Look it up, bro.
And she here.
It's supposed to do something.
Stephanie calling the ambulance. And Stephanie calling.
Give him some milk.
See, look, milk. See the milk in her hand? There it is.
And she mad at us. Shit, we ain't. That water fuck
too.
them up, though. They don't know that. Send them to a shop.
Necessary, bro.
Jamie, y'all better leave that Mojo alone.
Hood journalist, Dr. Wise person. He needs milk. Don't give him the water. That milk. She's an ex-user.
Somebody got the 50s.
Speaking from experience.
Hear the 50s in the background.
She said, "God, she's right too. They're mad at her for recording, and she just made that shit." And
now everybody knows what to do.
That milk, y'all, that water put them in shock.
She's talking from experience.
That water put them in shock, y'all.
She knows how far she should be involved in things.
No, she's a nurse at a church. I thought I just heard. Either way, she's speaking from experience. Shout out to that lady, bro.
Yeah, for real. Milk lady. Dr. Milk.
Dr. Milk. Oh, he running from people. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, he's like, fuck. Oh no. Jesus Christ.
People, don't do drugs. Just smoke marijuana. Oh, here it goes. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good little jump. Well, I'm taking off like a motherfucker. Watching him sail down to the bottom. Right now. Boom! Let that problem lay on the street as I drive away, because I'm not even trying to fill out the police report, homie. Bye. Go. Fuck is you doing? What? Is that his boy?
No.
That must be his boy.
He's inside the car.
It had to be his friend.
Maybe he really thinks that the guy is like being chased by
To
somebody.
be his friend. I don't know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it could do to you. You have to be careful.
Shout out.
It's out here. It's an epidemic in Florida.
With less so now.
Yeah, because China banned it. That's all they had to do.
Thanks, China.
Thank you, Trump.
Well, Trump had nothing to do with that.
Maybe.
That was Obama's in office.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it was 2014. You're right. Shout out to Obama yet again.
But I'm sure he'll take credit for it if you let him. You know, it's because of the tariffs. All the tariffs.
He's trying to make America great again.
Yeah, and he is, in a weird way, maybe he'll succeed. You know?
He's the only president that you would probably think was on Flakka and that we could probably see. Maybe him and Teddy Roosevelt.
Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
You gotta be some shit to do shit he was doing to people.
You think Flakka's been around since back then? That seems like a new molecule.
50s, right? 60s, it said.
Yeah. Well, if you have any interesting stories about being on Flakka, make sure you email us at freshproducefloridamedia@gmail.com. Let us know your encounters with the Flakka Flame. My name is Phraydoe Flakka.
And my name is a super tired, hungover Thompson.
Yo, shout out to Thompson for holding us down on his drunken episode.
Holding in might be, because after I ate all that candy and drank that tequila,
you're gonna have to pooty.
We'll see. See how it goes.
You might be doing the Flakka dance on the toilet. Peace and love, y'all.
Ow. Bye.